In a significant pivot to bolster its economy, China has announced plans to vigorously boost consumption in response to mounting pressures from a protracted trade war with the United States. The initiative revealed by the Communist Party's Central Committee and State Council aims to enhance consumer confidence amid a backdrop of economic challenges including deflation, rising unemployment, and a faltering real estate market. This strategic shift comes at a critical juncture as the country grapples with the implications of tariffs imposed by the Trump administration. In the wake of these tensions, the Chinese government has set an ambitious growth target of 5% for 2025, although this figure marks the slowest expansion rate since 1990, excluding the pandemic year. Fu Linghui, a spokesperson for the National Bureau of Statistics, articulated the dual challenges facing the economy. The external environment has become more complex and grim, and domestic effective demand is insufficient. The government's consumption-boosting agenda includes several measures aimed at reducing financial burdens on households. Plans to promote reasonable wage growth and adjust minimum wage mechanisms are central to this approach. Additionally, the proposal includes subsidies for childcare, addressing a significant deterrent to family growth among young adults, and initiatives to unlock earnings potential for homeowners. The government is also keen on promoting emerging markets, particularly in technology sectors such as artificial intelligence, and tapping into the tourism potential of winter sports. A report in the state-run Xinhua news agency emphasized that by linking consumer spending to broader social goals, the initiative seeks to enhance quality of life alongside economic growth. By connecting consumer spending to broader social goals like elderly care improvement, childcare support, and work-life balance, the plan embeds consumption growth within China's wider development objectives. It stated. Despite the optimism surrounding these new measures, the economic landscape remains precarious. Recent data indicated a drop in consumer prices into deflation for the first time in a year, raising concerns about sustainable growth. While retail sales have shown some recovery, unemployment has surged to levels not seen in 2 years, with housing prices declining across major cities. The National Statistics Bureau pointed out that while there are signs of positive development, the foundation for sustained economic recovery and growth is not strong enough. Market reactions to the announcements were mixed, with stocks in the Asia-Pacific region experiencing an uptick. However, mainland Chinese markets reflected a more cautious sentiment as the blue-chip CSI 300 index closed down by 0.2%. Economists remain wary, particularly regarding the potential fallout from increased U.S. tariffs on Chinese exports. Jiwei Zhang, president and chief economist at Pinpoint Asset Management, warned. The risk to the economy is the damage from higher U.S. tariffs on China's exports, which will likely show up in the trade data over the next few months. As China navigates these turbulent economic waters, the government's consumption strategy is seen as a critical lever to enhance domestic demand and mitigate external shocks. However, achieving meaningful results will require not only effective policy implementation but also a stable global economic environment. Moving forward, observers will be keen to see how these measures unfold and whether they can effectively rejuvenate consumer confidence and stabilize the economy amidst ongoing international trade challenges. Tensions in the Taiwan Strait have escalated dramatically following remarks by Taiwanese leader President Lai Ching-te, who characterized mainland China as a foreign hostile force during a recent high-level security meeting. This declaration comes at a pivotal moment, with observers warning of unprecedented danger to cross-strait relations, particularly as Lai unveils a series of security measures aimed at countering what he describes as Beijing's infiltration and subversion efforts. In a bold statement, Lai underscored the need for stronger security protocols, proposing the reinstatement of military trials and a mechanism for officials to disclose visits to the mainland. Additionally, he suggested tightening residency criteria for individuals from mainland China, Hong Kong, and Macau. Such rhetoric marks a significant escalation from previous diplomatic engagements and reflects the ruling Democratic Progressive Party's DPP independence-leaning stance. China's response was swift and severe. The Taiwan Affairs Office condemned Lai's comments, warning that they could push Taiwan toward the perilous brink of war. Furthermore, the Chinese Foreign Ministry criticized the G7 for its joint statement opposing unilateral attempts to alter the status quo, arguing it constitutes interference in China's domestic affairs. The situation took a more aggressive turn as the Chinese military conducted joint combat readiness patrols near Taiwan, deploying over 50 warplanes to areas surrounding the island. Taiwan's defense ministry responded by dispatching air and naval forces to monitor the situation, reiterating that such military activities are part of China's ongoing strategy to normalize its military presence near Taiwan. Lai's administration has been increasingly vocal about what it perceives as deepening Chinese influence operations. Recently, security officials revealed a rise in espionage cases involving military personnel who have been caught collaborating with Chinese agents. Among the most alarming incidents was the arrest of a retired Air Force major who allegedly leaked sensitive information about Taiwan's defense strategies. In parallel, the Taiwanese government has initiated measures to combat the growing influence of pro-China content within its entertainment sector. Lai's administration has publicly criticized Taiwanese entertainers who disseminate pro-China narratives, with calls for investigations into those who may hold Chinese national IDs, an issue that has recently taken center stage following a viral exposé depicting the methods by which Chinese organizations fund Taiwanese influencers. This crackdown coincides with a broader push by the Lai government to secure national integrity against what it perceives as a coordinated campaign by China to undermine Taiwan's sovereignty. The administration's new measures, including the reinstatement of military courts for espionage cases, reflect a significant shift in Taiwan's approach to national security and its determination to counter Beijing's influence. Political reactions within Taiwan are mixed, with the opposition Kuomintang KMT party expressing concerns over the potential for Lai's measures to infringe on civil liberties and resurrect authoritarian practices reminiscent of Taiwan's martial law era. The KMT is considering a referendum to oppose the reinstitution of military courts, framing Lai's actions as excessive and detrimental to Taiwan's democratic principles. As Taiwan navigates these turbulent waters, the implications of Lai's security measures are profound. They not only signal a hardening of Taiwan's stance against China but also suggest a long-term strategy of increased vigilance and defense preparedness. With cross-strait relations at a critical juncture, the global community watches closely, aware that developments in this region could have far-reaching consequences for regional stability. Looking ahead, the situation remains fluid and the potential for further escalation looms large. Lai has indicated a willingness to engage in dialogue with Beijing. Yet the recent developments suggest a dramatic shift in the dynamics of cross-strait relations. As military drills become more frequent and rhetoric intensifies, the future of Taiwan's security and its relationship with China hangs in a precarious balance. In a bid to rejuvenate its economy amidst ongoing external pressures, China has announced a series of ambitious measures aimed at bolstering consumer spending and addressing the pervasive challenges faced by its domestic market. This strategy comes in response to a confluence of factors, including a protracted trade conflict with the United States and persistent economic sluggishness characterized by declining consumer prices and rising unemployment. The Chinese Communist Party's CCP unveiled its plan to vigorously boost consumption during a recent meeting of its Central Committee, outlining initiatives designed to enhance consumer confidence. Key components of this strategy include promoting reasonable wage growth, adjusting minimum wage mechanisms, and providing financial support for childcare, an area identified as a barrier to family expansion among younger generations. Additionally, the government aims to unlock the economic potential of homeowners and stimulate emerging markets such as artificial intelligence and winter tourism. Fu Linghui, spokesperson for the National Bureau of Statistics, emphasized the complexities facing the economy, stating, "The external environment has become more complex and grim, and the foundation for the continuous recovery of the economy is still unstable." Such remarks highlight the dual pressures of internal economic constraints and external trade tensions that have made recovery a daunting task. The backdrop to these developments is stark. Recent data indicated that consumer prices had slipped into deflation for the first time in a year. A worrying sign for an economy still grappling with the aftershocks of the COVID-19 pandemic and a severe property market crisis. The CCP has set a growth target of 5% for 2025, yet analysts caution that this could be challenging to achieve without substantial stimulus measures to invigorate demand. Market reactions to the announcement were mixed. While many Asia-Pacific stock markets saw gains buoyed by investor optimism around the new initiatives, mainland Chinese stocks were less responsive, with the CSI 300 index closing down 0.2%. This divergence underscores the cautious sentiment among domestic investors who are acutely aware of the ongoing difficulties within the economy. Compounding these issues are the ramifications of U.S. trade policies under former President Donald Trump, who has signaled potential expansions to tariffs on Chinese exports. Jiwei Zhang, president and chief economist at Pinpoint Asset Management, noted, "The risk to the economy is the damage from higher U.S. tariffs on China's exports, which will likely show up in the trade data over the next few months. This looming threat adds another layer of uncertainty to an already precarious economic landscape." Despite these challenges, the Chinese government remains committed to its economic revitalization goals, with hopes that the interconnectedness of consumption with broader social objectives will not only stimulate the economy but also improve the quality of life for its citizens. Analysts will be closely watching how these measures unfold in the coming months, particularly as the effectiveness of the proposed financial supports and wage adjustments becomes clearer. As China navigates these turbulent waters, the interplay between domestic consumption strategies and the external pressures of trade relations will be critical in determining the trajectory of its economic recovery. The coming months will be pivotal as the nation seeks to balance its growth ambitions with the realities of an increasingly challenging global economic environment. In a surprising turn of events, the organizers of the Fengshan Marathon in southern Taiwan have issued an apology after presenting trophies that bore a striking resemblance to a Chinese military weapon. The event, which took place near Kaohsiung, faced immediate backlash upon the revelation that the trophies resembled the QBZ-95 assault rifle, a firearm developed by China and used by the People's Liberation Army. This incident has sparked a broader conversation about Taiwan's identity and its ongoing tensions with China, which views the self-governing island as a breakaway province. Su Chi-chi, a legislator from Taiwan's governing Democratic Progressive Party, described the trophy design as an oversight and emphasized the need for careful consideration in future events. "We have requested an immediate recall and apologize for the inconvenience," Su stated on Facebook. The Kaohsiung City Fengshan Jogging Association echoed this sentiment, asserting that the design choice was made purely for aesthetic reasons, intending no political message. "Given the association of the military with rifles, we opted for a rifle-shaped trophy instead of a traditional one, with no other special intention behind," the association explained. The National Defense Ministry, which had permitted the race to take place through military facilities, has also acknowledged the oversight and vowed to remind future organizers to exercise caution in their designs. This incident has drawn attention not only to the sensitivities surrounding Taiwan's military and political identity, but also reflects the ongoing pressures the island is facing from China. Amidst this backdrop, tensions between Taiwan and China have escalated. Recently, China has ramped up military activities around Taiwan, with the National Defense Ministry reporting the detection of multiple Chinese military aircraft in the vicinity. The frequency of these incursions has raised concerns among Taiwanese officials and citizens alike. As China intensifies its military posturing, Taiwanese President Lai Ching-te has labeled the country as a foreign hostile force, proposing measures to counteract Beijing's influence, which has included stricter regulations on Chinese nationals seeking entry to Taiwan. The Chinese government has responded to these developments with vehement denials of any wrongdoing. Spokesperson Mao Ning reiterated China's stance that these military actions are necessary to safeguard national sovereignty, labeling U.S. support for Taiwan as a direct affront to its territorial integrity. "Those who play with fire will get burned," Mao warned in reference to perceived provocations by Taiwanese authorities and their international allies. This escalating conflict highlights the fragile state of cross-strait relations, where even innocuous events like a marathon can trigger significant political repercussions. The recent incident with the marathon trophies serves as a reminder of the complex interplay between cultural expressions and political realities in Taiwan. As both sides continue to navigate this tense landscape, the potential for misunderstandings and miscommunications remains high. Looking ahead, it is clear that Taiwan will need to tread carefully in its public expressions while balancing its identity and sovereignty against external pressures. The ongoing military maneuvers by China and the Taiwanese government's responses indicate that this is not merely a localized issue but one with implications for regional stability and international relations. As the world watches, the future of Taiwan's autonomy and its relationship with China will undoubtedly continue to evolve, shaped by both domestic choices and external influences. In a significant diplomatic overture, China has expressed its intention to play a vital role in the post-war reconstruction of Ukraine. On March 17, 2025, during a press briefing, Li Ming, a spokesperson for the China International Development Cooperation Agency, articulated Beijing's readiness to assist Ukraine, stating that such support would be in accordance with the wishes of the parties involved. This announcement follows remarks made by Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, who suggested that China could contribute to peace restoration and rebuilding efforts on the 3-year anniversary of Russia's invasion. Li emphasized China's commitment to aid Ukraine to the best of its ability, which aligns with the broader international discussions surrounding post-war arrangements. As geopolitical landscapes shift, recent dialogues have gained momentum, particularly with U.S. President Donald Trump advocating for an end to the conflict. Trump is expected to engage with Russian President Vladimir Putin to discuss a possible 30-day ceasefire following an agreement reached with Ukraine the previous week. The estimated cost for the recovery and reconstruction in Ukraine over the next decade stands at a staggering $524 billion. Currently, Kyiv, bolstered by international partners and private sector investments, has allocated $13 billion towards immediate recovery needs, according to a joint report from the Ukrainian government, the World Bank Group, the European Commission, and the United Nations. This immense financial burden underscores the urgency for collaborative international support for Ukraine's rebuilding efforts. China's interest in Ukraine's reconstruction can be viewed through the lens of its broader diplomatic strategy, which seeks to enhance its global influence while navigating complex international relations. The implications of this involvement are multifaceted. For Ukraine, engaging with China could open avenues for substantial financial and infrastructural support, fostering a more diversified approach to rebuilding. However, it may also raise concerns among Western allies regarding China's expanding influence in Eastern Europe, potentially complicating the geopolitics of the region further. As the global community grapples with the ramifications of war and reconstruction, China's intentions highlight a pivotal moment in international relations. The forthcoming months will reveal whether these diplomatic gestures can translate into tangible support for Ukraine and how they may reshape the balance of power in the region. Looking ahead, as reconstruction efforts commence, the world will closely monitor China's role and the reactions of other international stakeholders, including the United States and European nations, to this evolving situation.